So yeah, I'm trying to be a dentist comedian. I make more money as a dentist. If I made more money as a comedian, I'd probably be the worst dentist at this point. Patients be like, I think my dentist just said he makes $50 a month. He says it's mostly on comped drinks, though. I think I want to be a dentist. Yeah. I have a dental practice in Eugene, Oregon. It's kind of a niche practice. We do something a little different there. For every extraction I do, I'll give a patient a Star of David, but every filling, I'll give a patient a crucifix. And it makes patients feel completely uncomfortable. But it allows me to apply with the IRS as a 501(c)(3), we're a religious organization. I don't pay any federal or state income tax because of that, right? It works. People get healed. Just type in Joel Osteen dentist, you'll find me. So good. My accountant hates that joke. That's not true. One thing I didn't know about becoming a dentist is I get to write excuse letters, and they don't ever teach you anything about that in dental school. You're like, how many days do they get off per filling? They don't ever go over that. So you can just do whatever you want. And I'm a people pleaser, so I would be like, oh, root canal? We'll see you in April. Yeah, there you go. Give that to your boss. And it doesn't have to be dentistry. Like, I'll sign off someone's angioplasty. I don't know what that is. It sounds very Italian, but I'll sign it. Right? Sounds delicious. But the hard part is, like, employer, I'm like the worst. No one ever sends me patients anymore because, like, oh, Walpack's always like at least a 3-month wait after a filling. I can't have you go see him. No, not a good dentist, not a good dentist. I have a practice where I try to learn Spanish to speak to my patients better because I've been at the other kind of practice. I worked for an old dentist who couldn't speak Spanish, but he would instead just speak louder and add O to the end of words. Which tooth, oh, pain, pain-o, pain-o, this tooth, this pain, problemo. That's your first word you got right, sorry. So I took like Spanish classes down at LCC at the community college, and I was trying to learn, you want to ask somebody how old they are, you ask them, ¿cuántos años tiene? How many years do you have? But yes, you have to say a year right, you have to say año. And I was asking a patient how old their crown was, and by accident I asked him, how many anuses does the crown have? And she gave me a look and she said, tres? And then I got confused. Because we know a crown should have 2 anuses, right? We know that. Okay, all on the same page. I started dentistry in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And yeah, woohoo! This is my University of New Mexico shirt. And the question you always have to ask patients, you do a crown, you do a filling, you have to be like, hey, how's your bite feel? Does it feel high? You need to adjust it? And Albuquerque was like, yeah, can you just adjust it? Oh, that feels good, thank you. And then I moved to Eugene, Oregon, like the marijuana capital of the world. And I'd be like, hey, does your bite feel high? And people would be like, oh. I never thought about that. I guess it is a little bit. Usually all of me's high, but I'll just locate my bite. I used to be one of those dentists, those like 4 out of 5 dentists that always did Crest for patients. And then I kind of switched it up, and now I'm the 1 in 5 dentist that always does trazodone for patients. Trazodone's an anti-anxiety sedative, and I find patients always take their trazodone. They don't always brush their teeth. Great compliance with trazodone. And patients usually come back to your office and their teeth look awful, but they're happy. And there's no bags under their eyes anymore. You look like you slept well. You look good. Yeah. I also, people always ask me about, when did you know you wanted to be a dentist? And I'm like, I knew I wanted to be a dentist when I graduated dental school. and I was $330,000 in debt. And I was like, I can't work at Hollister anymore. I'm gonna be a dentist. And then I wanted to become a dentist for the wrong reason. I was like, oh, you get to call me doctor? That sounds great. So on my first flight out of dental school, I put doctor on the ticket, thinking like, hey, maybe I'll get like a free gin and tonic. What do doctors get? I don't know. And what they do on flights, if you put your name on it, they bother you. This flight attendant was like, hey, there's a man up front with, he's like vomiting and diarrhea. I understand you're a doctor. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not a real doctor, I'm a dentist. No difference between me and a PhD art student, really. And I felt bad about that. So then I went back to school, got advanced cardiac life support classes and CPR classes. And I got back on a flight, this one to St. Louis. And the flight attendant came up to me, she was like, hey, I understand you're a doctor? I was like, I am a doctor. There's a man up front with he's just coming in and out of consciousness. Can you help him? I said, sure. So I went up front, and there was a man that looked like he had an opioid overdose. His pupils were dilated, and he was just coming in and out of consciousness. And I had to be serious with him. I was like, I'm going to ask you a question. It's a serious question. By the way you answer it helps determine whether you live or whether you die. And he was like, oh, all right. And I said, when was the last time you flossed? That man died that night. I can't impart how serious it is, all right, guys? Very serious. Patients always want to come to the dentist for the same thing, it feels like. They're like, I want straight teeth. I want to look like Julia Roberts. And you're like, okay, we'll do braces, we'll do crowns in the front. You look great. But then we do that for a lot of patients, and we got people in society that just all look the same. And the problem there, I feel like, is if you go down in an airplane crash and we have to identify you by your dental record, it's a lot harder to find you if you look like Julia Roberts. But if you look like Steve Buscemi, bam, I know that guy. Steve Buscemi's family is going to get his life insurance payout before Megan Fox. That's what I'm saying. So think about the children. All right, so I did a couple minutes up here. I'm gonna probably do about 5 more minutes, then I'm gonna have my hygienist come. She's gonna do the last bit. All right. She's a hygienist. I had to hire people with dentistry. I never thought I'd ever have to hire someone in my life. This is my hiring technique. Is I'll put an ad on Indeed, and then if I get a resume back, I'll Facebook search that person, and if they don't have a face tattoo, we put that on the in pile, all right? We interview, we look up their husband, no face tattoo, we hire that person, all right? Very face tattoo-driven practice I have, all right? So I hired this hygienist, and she was great. She worked at 2 great offices, and we worked together for about 3 months, and then we went out for drinks one night. And the whole office, she's like, oh my God, I love this job, but I used to work at an adult store, and I was selling videos and lingerie, and I even sold vibrators to people. And we were like, whoa, let's do 1 drink next time. It's an overshare. And now I can't not think about it when she's working in the operatory next to me, vibrators. I'm just like, and she'll try to sell a patient an electric toothbrush. Like, oh no. They come in different settings and different colors. It depends what you want, you know. And they're dishwasher safe. They are not dishwasher safe. Old job, lady, old job. Okay. Yeah. Dental school was hard in that the professors, they were always unpredictable. You'd have some happy professors who are like, hi, my name's Dr. Taylor. I've been retired for 20 years. Dentistry is a wonderful career. I'm so happy you guys entered it. Who wants to see me milk a saliva gland, huh? Okay. Got warm fuzzies, this is good. And then there's other people that are just bat crazy, you know? You're like, my name's Dr. Jax. Killed my wife's cat in 1984. We got divorced because of that. divorce attorney said I had to give her half my dental practice. So logically, I cut it in half with a chainsaw. Now the board of dentistry says I can't practice dentistry because I'm not fit. But I can teach at dental school. So who wants to see me rip a tooth out of someone's face? Let's do it. Come on. That's who's teaching us. Your kids are safe. Yeah. I got to do something fun. I got to do a mission trip where I got to go to Uganda and got to extract teeth. And that was exciting. But when we got there, the social worker was like, yes, just extract teeth, no fillings. These people will really appreciate it. But hepatitis B and HIV are prevalent here, so can you give out condoms and do some sex education? And I was like, sure. But I'm a dentist. Like, if you go to a dentist and he gives you like floss, toothpaste, and a condom, you'd be like, I love my dentist. But it does throw off our Google reviews. So I went to Uganda and I extracted teeth. And I extracted a tooth off this one guy who's very appreciative. And at the end I was like, hey, you should be wearing condoms because HIV and hepatitis B are very prevalent here. And he had a great answer. He said, Dr. Walpack, would you ever eat a candy with a wrapper on it? No, of course not. It's not as sweet. He convinced everybody at the Baptist church from Eugene, Oregon not to wear condoms ever again. Very powerful. I had to get, I'm trying to accept Medicare as a dentist, and if you do that, you have to get fingerprinted. And in the state of Oregon, there's usually only two reasons why you're fingerprinted. One is you want to hold a handgun. If you want to carry a handgun, you got to get fingerprinted. Two is if you're a felon and you have served your time, you want to go back into the workforce, you got to get fingerprinted. So when I went to get fingerprinted, the lady was fingerprinting me, and she's like, are you hoping to own a handgun? And I said, no. And she's like, oh, well then you must be a felon. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Everyone thinks I'm so boring as a dentist, but it's like you just told me I listened to the Dead Kennedys. This is great. I was like, what kind of felon do you think I'd be? And she's like, arson or kidnapping maybe? I'm like, oh, I always forget about those felons. Check fraud? Okay, stop talking, lady. Belong to the Academy of General Dentistry in Oregon, and it's this organization where you can like learn to do better root canals and make dentures and stuff. But I can never remember like the URL website, so I Google search it, Oregon AGD. And when I type in Oregon AG, Google is like, Oregon age of consent? And you're like, ew, Google, no. That's awful. That means there's more people about to commit statutory rape than they're trying to do a better root canal. And that is not a good place for our country or our state at this point. That matters. HIPAA is a thing. I don't know if you guys know what HIPAA is. It means like your doctor can't talk about you or say that you sees you at all, what they see you for. And I get that. Like my wife's a therapist, and as a therapist, you wouldn't want your therapist to come up to you at the Home Depot and be like, hey, oh my God, I know you. You're like Tuesday, 2 o'clock, right? Oh, I can't get the name though. You don't tell me. PTSD from Gulf War, right? Oh, okay. Overeats sometimes because he misses his wife, right? Is it Bert? It is, Dr. Gleason. It is. You got it. You got a lot of rope today. Yep, just making a fence. Okay, just checking. Little therapy humor, don't worry. All right, thanks, Dr. Gleason. That's great. Other icebreaker patients always ask me is like, hey, dentist, is it true that you guys are all suicidal? And you're like, that's a weird icebreaker. You could have done better than that one. Weird thing to ask. Like, yes, some people are suicidal after dental school, and some people are like me, where you're suicidal first, then you go to dental school. They don't care how you do it as long as you do it, all right? That's what they're saying. But Yeah, a lot of people don't realize this. When they found Kurt Cobain's body, there was a shotgun on one side and a suicide note on the other side. But there was an acceptance letter from the University of Washington Dental School on his chest. Nobody talks about it.